Spiritual discrimination. Now, here's a topic you don't hear people talking about basically ever, because everyone's got some hype to sell you. What is spiritual discrimination? Spiritual discrimination is your own internal self-directed sense of what is right for you spiritually and what is not. And more than that, it's the ability to distinguish true teachings, or rather, positive life affirming teachings, rather than hype. There's a lot of hype. There's hype in the occult world. It's almost all hype. There's hype in the spiritual life coach world. It's almost all hype. Developing spiritual discrimination is the most important thing you can do as a human being, right? Because your spiritual discrimination doesn't just mean what spiritual books you read, or, what YouTube or what seminars you go to, or what path you follow, or system, or anything like that, or religion. It doesn't really mean that. What spiritual discrimination means is your ability, and it really is an ability. It can be exercised, and sometimes it's exercised through painful experiences, of guiding yourself through life, guiding yourself towards the right destination for you. You develop spiritual discrimination basically by going out into the wild and exploring lots of ideas and systems and teachers. And sometimes your discrimination is developed by bad experiences or unfulfilling experiences. But it's a muscle that's developed over time. And that muscle gets more and more refined as your life goes on if you're actively engaging in spiritual pursuits. And I will suggest getting that muscle very, very well developed gets you closer and closer and closer to what we might call your true will, your true self. And I guarantee you, it's not what you think it is. It probably has zero to do with any of the stuff in the books or hyped up or anything like that. It's your own personal trajectory through life towards what is right for you. And that's different for everyone. But I want to offer you just a simple, basic tool that you can use in your own personal spiritual journey through life, whether that involves watching my content, or maybe maybe this is the first time you see me and maybe you'll never watch me again. That's fine with me. I just want to offer you one simple tool, which is when you're encountering spiritual systems, practices, teachers, content, ask yourself, and I don't mean here, but I mean ask yourself here, okay? Ask yourself here. Is this integrative or disintegrative? Does this construct or destroy? What are examples of disintegrative spiritual practices? Drugs definitely can be, but it's not just drugs. It's ideologies, belief systems that are all about tearing down, destroying, pushing further into chaos, that type of thing, versus integrative, which are usually, in fact, never the glamorous ones, right? And almost always cut against the grain of your ego. But integrative spiritual practices integrate you towards what is true and right and good in the universe. And that's never glamorous. It's never flashy, and it's often very, very difficult. But it gives you a sense of internal wholeness as you go through those processes. It gives you a sense of being connected to something bigger than you. It gives you a sense of being hopefully more, a better influence on people around you, a better part of your community, versus disintegrative, which is probably going to end up with facial tattoos and a billion piercings and snorting God knows what and cursing the man and trying to tear down the government and all this nonsense. Okay, those are really crude examples. One of the great all-time classic scenes in cinema history is the bit at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, spoiler alert, where Indiana Jones goes into a temple that holds the Holy Grail, but it's disguised because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of grails or cups, and his task is to choose the one that's the Holy Grail.
You must choose, but choose wisely, for as the true Grail will bring you life, the false Grail will take it from you.
And so there's these beautiful cups, incredible, ornate, expensive, silver, gold, jewels, all this stuff, arcane symbols on them. And he looks through and finally he picks A very plain earthen cup, completely nondescript, the most boring cup in the entire area.
It would not be made out of gold.
That's the cup of a carpenter.
You have chosen wisely.
And lo and behold, that's the Holy Grail. It's the stone that the builders overlooked. So ignore the flash, ignore the hype, and ask yourself here, is this integrative or disintegrative? Does this build me up or tear me down? Does this build up the world around me or tear it down? All right, lots of love. See you later.